Alright, Shalom on the Brothers of the Siyat coming back with another video. Before I start off, I would like to give all praises and the highest honor to Yahweh, Ba'ashem Yahushai, Ba'ashem Kakadash. I want to give double honor to my elder apostles and teachers of Great Millstone, and peace and salutation to the sincere Akiam across the world who are spreading this knowledge in truth and sincerity. May the election be upon your households. Khan Shalom. So, today I want to make a part 2 concerning Revelation chapter 13. Okay, last time I stopped at verse 8, so right now I'm gonna start reading from verse 9. Revelation chapter 13, verse 9. If any man have an ear, let him hear. Meaning, everybody, not everybody, but most people have ears, okay? So, of course, most people can hear, but it means like, let those that hear and can understand it, perceive this. You see? He that leadeth into captivity shall go into captivity. So did not the so-called white man lead the so-called black man into slavery? Captivity is bondage, is slavery. So they themselves will go into slavery. Okay. He that killeth with a sword must be killed with a sword. Yeah, they killed us with their weapons, they will be killed also. Okay. Meanwhile, their blessing is the sword. You see? Here is the patience and the faith of the saints. This is what we are waiting on. The faith and the saints. Which patience goes into suffering, and faith, you are hoping for something that you have not seen yet, but you know it will come. Okay, so you're suffering because you really want it now. You really want these devils to pay now. And the saints are the Israelites. That is what the Israelites, what we actually are waiting for, man. Okay. Now, he that leadeth into captivity shall go into captivity. The so-called white man led us into slavery. Okay. Hard bondage slavery. So what will happen to them? When the World War III comes and the elect get saved, okay, then when our kingdom is established, these white people, so-called white people, which are actually Edomites, will go into slavery for 1,000 years, and after 1,000 years they will be exterminated. So that is their near future. Verse 11. And I beheld another beast coming up out of the earth, and he had 2 horns like a lamb, and he spake as a dragon. So that other beast is talking about, basically talking about America, the NATO, okay, the EU. But he had 2 horns like a lamb. Now that 2 horns is representative for their political system. You always have this side versus the other side. You have now the Republicans versus the what's it again? Democrats, of course. Now back in the time of Rome, it was the plebeians, which were the poor people, against the patricians. The conflict. For example, in Holland, you have a political party that is all the way on the left, and a political party that's all the way on the right. Okay, so that is their political system. And he had 2 horns like a lamb, yeah, because they, both parties make it seem like they are this great party and this subtle party, and when we get empowered, we are really gonna make things change, etc., etc. In the meantime, doesn't matter which party is chosen, they all will go back, to those dragon ways, the draconian laws. Okay, no matter if the Republicans ruling or the Democrats. You see. So first, also, like a lamp. What is a lamp? A lamp is like very docile, very humble. So they first also, when they came to America, they were so-called, docile. They came with so-called religion, pure intentions, so-called, but they have, war in their heart. They ultimately will show their colors, their true colors. Okay, so this is Psalm chapter 55. Because these people always promise shit, and then when it really comes down to it, they always have, these little loopholes for them to get benefits and you to basically get fucked over. So this is Psalms chapter 55, verse 21. The words of his mouth were smoother than butter, but war was in his heart. So just like how smooth you can, cut with a knife through butter to make your bread, that is how smooth the words of these Edomites come out. They are very slick with their communication. But war is in his heart. Yeah, man. They might say like to you, yeah, man, you my friend, this, that, praise you, say they're gonna change a lot of things. But meanwhile, in his mind, he's thinking about killing you, man. He's thinking about, okay, how can I, maybe for this country, how can I take their resources, make friends with them first, make sure that my people get in their country, be there occupied for a few years, learn their ways, learn their things, write everything down, and then eventually take you out of power, man, like they did to the Native Americans. His words were softer than oil, yet were they drawn swords. Again, the same explanation. Okay, so going back to Revelation chapter 13, verse verse 12. Yeah, and he exercised all the power of the first beast before him, and caused the earth and them which dwell therein to worship the first beast, whose deadly wound was healed. Now he, okay, talking about this day and age, the NATO, the EU, the Americas, okay, and he exercised all the power of the first beast before him. Now that first beast, which is actually referring to the Roman Empire. But how is the power of the Roman Empire, being represented in this day and age? Well, for example, this is that revived kingdom. This is Rome all over again. You see it in the way that the infrastructure is around us. Even on the bills of money, you see these Roman ways of building things, man. Let me see. Heftig. Euro. Yeah, man. Just to take the euro. These buildings. Okay. And I actually want the other one, the bigger one with the big pillars. Okay, those are the things that they was building in Rome, man. Okay. Romeins gebouw. Yeah, this is what I mean. Look at the 10 euro here. This Roman this Roman building here on the $100 bill, $100 euro. Let me say it like that. And this one on the 5 euro. That is Rome all over again, man. When you go, for example, to school and you want to be a physiotherapist, like I explained, you gotta learn the language in Latin. You gotta learn the muscles, the names of the muscles, the arteries, the sinews, the nerves, whatever. You gotta learn it in Latin. Do you wanna study plants? You gotta learn the names in what? In Latin, which is the language that the Romans speak. You wanna learn about planets? Guess what? You have them Greek and Roman gods. Those names: Neptunus, Saturnus. You name it. So to grab a precept to show that they are Rome all over again. This is First Maccabees, chapter 8. Let me also grab it here so y'all can read along. God, this is First Maccabees, chapter 8, starting at verse 1. Now Judas had heard of the Romans, that they were mighty and valiant men, so they were warriors, and such as would lovingly accept all that joined themselves unto them, and make a league of amity with all that came unto them. That unite. That all we are all one. Okay, that is also where they come this day and age. Yeah, we are all one. We are all equal. Shit like that. Jumping to verse 13. Also that, let me highlight it to verse 16. Right, First Maccabees 8 and 13. Also that whom they would help to a kingdom, those reign, and whom again they would, they displace. So, they have one ruler after another, and if they don't like you, they take you out of power. After that 4 year period, I believe, the president is taken out of power and then comes back again, if I'm correct. Another election comes. They displace them. Finally, that they were greatly exalted. Yet for all this, none of them wore a crown or was clothed in purple. So for getting into the power position, they didn't had on a crown, which means they were not, basically like a monarchy, like royalty, the kingdom being passed on from father to son. That is not how it went. So like, yeah, wait 1 second. Yeah. Yeah, that is not how it went. Okay. They just had their elections and things like that. The Senate meetings. To be magnified thereby. Moreover, how they had made for themselves a Senate house, wherein 320 men sat in council daily, just like this day and age, the Senate meetings. Where these so-called important people come together to discuss certain things, like this, the Senate meeting. Which in Holland you actually have this also, man, in the first room and the second room, the Eerste Kamer and the Tweede Kamer, it's spoken about. You see, you also have this room where they meet and come together, the Senate meetings. And it's even called a Senate meeting, I believe. Let's say in America, if I'm correct. Let me see. Wherein 320 men sit in council daily, consulting all way for the people. Yeah, so they deciding what to do. What laws to implement or what not. When a certain situation occurs, how would they handle it? Okay, to the end, they might be well ordered, and that they committed their government to one man every year. So the Romans back in the days had every year a new ruler, different than when you have a king that it rules, and then when he dies, it goes to his son, for example, a monarchy. Okay, so they had every year a ruler. Now, in this day and age, in the NATO, the EU, you have a similar system like that. Every few years there might be another leader elected. Okay, who ruled over all their country, and that all were obedient to that one. So everybody has to listen to that certain leader, and that there was neither envy nor emulation among them. Okay, going back to Revelation chapter 13, verse 12 we did. And the last part of verse 12, to worship the first beast whose deadly wound was healed. So that first beast, his wound was healed, meaning the Roman Empire actually is now coming back all over again, okay. And during the Renaissance is when they, started to come back into out of the caves, basically out of the 1000 period wherein they was gonna be locked up away, in the caves. Verse 13. And he doeth great wonders, so that he maketh fire come down from heaven on the earth in the sight of men. And this is concerning, when the World War happened. What was it again? Yeah, the World War happened. They make fire come down from heaven. So what in the sky, when you look up in the sky, is something that's fire and destruction. That's talking about these nuclear rockets, these nuclear missiles, the bombs that they dropped on it's like Hiroshima. Okay, that is what they be doing, man. They be bombing all these countries with their nuclear power. Okay, so that he maketh fire come down from heaven on the earth in the sight of men, in the eyes of the people, they can see it. Okay, or the napalm in Vietnam, you name it. Okay, that is what these people be doing. Verse 14. And deceived them that dwell on the earth by the means of those miracles which he had power to do in the sight of the beast. So Edomites, the number one deceivers, they deceive the people that are on the earth by those miracles. And those miracles are, for example, their technology, is getting more and more advanced. Um, they have a chip for you to maybe when you never was able to walk, or when your nervous system shuts down, they can make you walk again. Or if you lost the arm, they can make now a new arm for you, a robot arm. Make you a sort of cyborg. You know, so those are miracles that they can perform. You see. What else did they have? Yeah, they actually have a microtech also to cure blindness. Okay, so those are those miracles, man, that they can do and deceive the people. Okay, saying to them that dwell on the earth that they should make an image to the beast, which had the wound by a sword and did live. So that image is not only talking about so-called Jesus, Cesare Bosche, but is actually talking about their imago in the Dutch is called. Like the the build. How do you say that? Build, creëren, Engels. Bruh, create image. Okay. Just like how you portray, how they are portrayed, by their ways. So, for example, oh, I did not read this one first. Okay, I may read that once later. Basically, like doing what the Romans did. They put aside God. They had certain leaders every now and then, every year. Basically, the Roman ways, man. Bread and circus. So, for example, the Olympics or whatever. Okay, fighting in the Colosseum, fighting in the octagon. Okay, keeping people distracted with fun things from uh, the real things and the real evil plans that they are plotting, basically. Okay. Also, let me see. They have a strong military. Okay, which is actually still a part of the miracle. But let me see. Yeah, that was it on that, man. That they should make an image to the beast, which had the wound by a sword and did live. So the revived Roman Empire. Now from there, let's go to the book of First Maccabees. Chapter 1, verse 41, if I'm correct. Yeah, 41. This is what I'm talking about, that we are all one people. We should unite, and we should, leave the Most High and basically come together as one people. Shit like that. First Maccabees 1, verse 41. Moreover, King Antiochus wrote to his whole kingdom that all should be one people. Like you see this day and age, yeah, we are all equal, we are all one. Black, Chinese, Arab, white, doesn't matter. And everyone should leave his laws. So basically, the Israelites also had to leave their laws, their ways, to leave Yahweh Bashem Yashai and follow this so called unity of them. So all the heathen agreed according to the commandment of the king. Yea, many also of the Israelites consented to his religion, and sacrificed unto idols, and profaned the Sabbath. So the Israelites actually left, the ways from Yahweh Bashem Yahushai, and were down with that religion of him. Consented meaning, they give permission, they permit themselves to do it. They go along with it. Okay. For the king had sent letters by messengers unto Jerusalem and the cities of Judah, that they should follow the strange laws of the land, and forbid burnt offerings and sacrifice and drink offerings in the temple, and that they should profane the Sabbaths and festival days, and pollute the sanctuary and the holy people, and set up altars and groves and chapels of idols, and sacrifice swine's flesh and unclean beasts. So they even had to sacrifice a pig, man, swine, pig. All the things that I read above, the shit that they was doing while leaving Yahweh Bashem Yahshai. This is a swine, okay, it's a varkas, a so-called pig. Okay, going back to Revelation chapter 13. Verse 50 now. And he had power to give life unto the image of the beast, that the image of the beast should both speak and cause that as many as would not worship the image of the beast should be killed. So that image of the beast was just what I explained, okay? Their ways, that old Roman ways, following their customs. And if you're basically not down with the society, you're gonna get smoked. Okay, if you eventually don't, for example, wanna cooperate, they might make it first seem like, okay, you maybe get a fine or a warning, but after a while they're gonna come, with that military might, with that force to basically force things upon you. You see, you thought that you had freedom? Think again. Okay, so yeah, man, and that is what they be. That is what Salakia. That is what they've been doing, man. If a country doesn't cooperate, they use propaganda, like 9/11, or they make it seem like America, for example, makes it seem like they being attacked by a certain country from the Middle East, Iraq, for example, if I'm correct, where now they have a reason to go into that country and to take over that country and to bomb that country and to take their resources. And then America plays the victim. Meanwhile, they were the ones who plotted the evil plan in the first place. So these people, man, hey, they really gotta go, man. They are really, really wicked. Okay, these Edomites, these so-called white people. Verse 16, and he caused it all, both small and great. So no matter if you have a small business or a great business, rich or poor, a lot of money or less money, free and bond, to receive a mark in their right hand or in their foreheads. That mark is talking about an RFID device, RFID chip that will be implanted under your skin. Okay, in one of your hands maybe, or the forehead, maybe how do you say that? Or maybe in the forehead, which actually is talking about the brain. And it's not just because it says right hand, does it literally mean that it's only going to be in the right hand. It can also be in the left hand, So if I can show the word mark in the Blue Letter Bible real quick. Hey, this is always taking long, man, to load. Stupid shit. Let me try internet. Fucking app, man. Bible Hub. Stupid, man. Let me just do it like this, man. Okay. Hey, man. The fuck. Okay. Let me go to Revelations. Hey, it's loading mad long for nothing. Okay, let me see Revelations. By the way. Jude. Salaki had the wrong app. Blue Letter Bible, I mean. Because the word mark goes into charachma, which is a stamp, an imprinted mark. Okay, that is the one I want to show you. Yes, Revelation 13, 16. Let's see. The word mark. Mark. It says in the Greek charachma. Okay, charachma. So when we go read about what the word actually explains, it says outline of biblical usage, a stamp, the imprinted mark of the mark stamped on the forehead of the right hand or the right hand as the badge of the followers of the Antichrist, the mark branded upon horses, the thing carved, sculpture, graven work. So basically, when you have a real hot iron and you burn the horse, you basically stamp a mark upon them because they are your property. Okay, they are your property right now. So when you take this chip, you are basically property of them, and you don't belong to the Most High anymore now. Okay, they have actually taken over you. Okay, I saw even in a video where a man explained when you take this chip, they can alter your mind where you now won't even believe in the Most High anymore. Okay, so that is how wicked these people are, man. That is why it's so important for us not to take this MOTB, Mark of the Beast. Okay, and this one is a different mark than the word mark in the book of Ezekiel, chapter 9, verse 4. Because this one in the book of Revelation was charachma, but in Ezekiel chapter 9, verse 4, it says, "And the Lord said unto him, Go through the midst of the city, to the midst of Jerusalem, and set a mark upon the foreheads of the men that sigh and that cry for all the abominations that be done in the midst thereof." So this is actually talking about the ones that will be saved, will get a mark. But what type of mark? It says Taf in the Hebrew, mark, if I say that correct, which means desire mark, as a sign of exemption from judgment. So you are excluded from judgment, meaning when you get this mark, you will be saved. Okay, so that is a difference. Now going back to Revelation chapter 13, verse 16 again. "And he causeth all, both small and great, rich and poor, free and bond, to receive a mark in their right hand or in their foreheads." So you got a chip, "and that no man might buy or sell, save he that had the mark." So you cannot purchase anything, you cannot buy anything, you cannot sell anything, you cannot buy food, you cannot buy drink, you cannot maybe buy a metro ticket to move from place to place, you cannot maybe a tank for your car and pay for the tank because you don't have the chip. You cannot do anything. You might even not have access to your home, to your bank account. You cannot purchase anything if you don't have this chip. So that is gonna be a horrible time, man, because now you're thinking like, hey man, if we don't take it, then how are you gonna survive? Well, that is up to the Most High. The ones that believe in him, he will take care of them, like the scripture says, or the name of the beast, or the number of his name. Here is wisdom. Let him that hath understanding count the number of the beast. For it is a number of a man, and his number is 666. And that is 666, because you have 600, then 3 score, 1 score is 20. So 3 score is 3 times 20 is also 6. And then again in the end you have 6. So it's 666, which actually is in every barcode. When you buy something, it contains the number 666. Okay, so it's really a high vibration of this devil around here. So what do I mean with it's already on the barcode? Every stripe that you see, you know, every stripe has is linked to a certain number. For example, this combination of stripes is linked to number 1. This big stripe, for example, is linked to number 3. Okay, and so forth and so forth. Okay, this stripe is, for example, linked to first number 7. You see, so at every barcode you can check it for yourself. Let me see. In the beginning, in the middle, and in the end, you have this combination of stripes, which is referred to the number 6. Okay, so literally everything that has a barcode is under the vibration of 666. So this whole world is on an evil vibration, man. Okay, so with that, I hope it was edifying, and I want to give all praises and the highest honor to Yahweh, Ba'ashem Yahushai, Ba'ashem Mokakadash. I want to give double honor to my elder apostles and teachers of Great Millstone, and peace and salutation to the sincere Akiam across the world who are spreading this knowledge in truth and sincerity. And may the election be upon your households. God Shalom.